There is this thing called the 80-20 rule. We talk about doing 80% lifestyle, 20% real estate. She showed us one of her very first real estate posts, dancing on the counter with this goofy music behind it. It was viral. It blew up because people thought it was hilarious.
You got to post it and ghost, which means don't look back.
The engagement that you're getting the most, I guess the sort of the non-real estate related stuff, is that right?
The content that gets the most engagement is when I'm really breaking into sharing my thoughts.
What about this generation who just scrolls?
Take your YouTube long form content and break it up into small little clips.
One mistake agents make online.
They think they need to make it perfect.
The Red Chair Podcast. Real truth behind real people in real estate.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Red Chair Podcast. We're so glad you've chosen to join us today. I hope you've been enjoying our series so far. We've got a great conversation, another great conversation today with my partner here on the couch, Greg Duerksen. I'm going to get him to speak in a minute, but today's conversation is an important one for agents for sure, and it's specifically around leveraging your social media to boost your real estate business. And I think Greg has done a great job of doing that. So we're going to get some trade secrets from him. So Greg, welcome to the couch today. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you very much,
I guess to
April.
the red chair, but you're not in the red chair. So you're welcome to the black couch portion of the Red Chair Podcast.
Definitely on the spotlight, so thank you.
Love it.
Yeah.
And you do not look like a floating head at all. You look great.
I appreciate that. I'm used to spending more time on that side of the camera than I am this one.
Yeah, so that's good. So tell us a little bit about your real estate. How long have you been doing it? What's going on in your world?
I've been in real estate a little over 3 years now in the Victoria area.
Okay, good stuff. And what were you doing before that?
Yeah, I like to say that when I grow up, I'll figure out what I really want to do. I think I'm closer now than I've ever been.
Okay.
But I have a little bit of a variety in my background. So I have 14 years of construction experience, 7 years in a nonprofit, and 2 to 3 years of videography and studio, media, drone work, marketing, that kind of work. Mm-hmm. So what I do right now with my real estate is really a collection of all those skill sets put together.
Good. That's good. Well, you're the right person to talk to then. So we're going to be talking about the most powerful tools in real estate, and those tools have everything to do with social media. And so I cannot wait to hear some of the things that you say, because I think we're going to learn a thing or two. So I'm going to start off with a great question, and I want to hear the answer to from you. And that is, what was your first real estate post, and how bad was it?
My first real estate post. So I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to content creation. My wife would say I just go over the deep end and I take care of too many details. So my first post was actually something I thought a lot about. I wanted to establish a foundation for who I am in real estate. So I did a vignette video, just a short little video. I went into my dad's shop and I recorded some of his tools and kind of brought the lights down low, kind of did a cinematic pan over some of the tools. And the reason why I did that is because there's a logo engraved to those tools. And if you are familiar with my logo, with my brand, it's a circle with a G and a D, and it actually goes back 3 generations. So I wanted to be able to capture those 3 generations in my initial video to say that what I'm doing now is a little bit of a different tool, but the pedigree, the work ethic, the commitment, and the service component is a continuation from generations before me. Mm-hmm. So I just did that short little vignette saying, this is who I am. This is what my logo says about who I am and what I'm here to do. And, the rest
That's
is
actually really beautiful. I mean, it's really just taking sort of that legacy of, your past and now the present, and bringing it all together. That's actually a very impressive first social media post for your business.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, the social media is a chance for people to get to know who I am and to authenticate what I bring to the table. So I don't do a bunch of gimmicky stuff, but I try to bring the bar up a little bit, and I just wanted to represent authentically who I am and to do it at the highest level quality that I'm capable of doing. And so it was a really good start.
Yeah, that's great. And what kind of response did you get to it?
It was really good. I think, and that's what I'm finding with social media, is people want to see the real you. They want to hear the story. They want to be invited into the story. And so what that did is nobody knew the history behind that. I've seen that little logo engraved in all of my grandfather and my father's tools, and I've handled those tools all the time. Yeah. So for generations, I've been looking at this icon of what it means to work hard and to serve other people. Wow. And I have a pretty impressive legacy of people that have done that before me. So for me, it was a chance to tell that story, to invite people into my story, and for them to kind of see where I come from. And that, I think, it is always responds the best for me in social media.
Yeah.
I can do something really high quality, but if I do something that's really authentic
Yeah.
and invites people into the story, that gets far more reach.
That's the key word, authentic, right? I think people just want to see that you're real. They want to see that you're not this like, look at this, how, like so many of us do the same thing. And, stepping outside and doing something slightly different is really impactful. But doing it in a way that's genuinely, authentically you, not gimmicky, like you said, which can be kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a journey because nobody really wants to put themselves under the microscope to sit on the other side of a camera like this.
Right.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
But I also felt that being new to the area, being new to the industry,
Right.
I didn't have as much time to build a relationship with people and to scale. The only way I felt I could do that is to be able to be in front of more people and for them to be able to see who I am and what I offer,
Yeah.
what I could do for them.
So how often do you decide to post and like what do you post? Are you like, is it mostly real estate? Is it lifestyle? Like, how do you come up with how you're going to do all that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of formulated a little bit over time. So when I first started out, I posted a lot more than what I do right now. And I think the algorithms have changed a little bit. Instagram, Facebook, they all want you to advertise. They want you to pay to get your
Right.
information out. So about 23, 24, the years of 23, 24, that changed a lot for me. And I could tell from the analytics what kind of exposure I was getting. And I was generating a lot of interest, a lot of engagement. And so I was pushing really hard into that skill set because it was something I was very comfortable in doing. But I found that it wasn't as effective as it has been. So I post less now
Yeah.
than I did before. But I really try to make it, my goal is to be maybe the top 20 or 30% in quality content. And I try not to waver from that as a goal. And then I try to authentically represent who I am in that. So the way that breaks down, my stories get a lot of engagement. I look at that as kind of like show your work, do your homework. When you went to school and the teacher's like, yeah, that's great, but how did you get there?
Right.
And so if I show my work, then people know that I'm actively out and in a community, traveling up and down the island, or doing inspections, doing perimeter drain inspections, doing drone work, or anything else that is an active part of my day-to-day, they get invited into that. And next time I bump into them on a road or I see them at an open house, they ask me questions based on what they've seen.
Right.
And for me, that's really important.
And in that, in all of that stuff, are you using a lot of your face, or is it more the things that you're like I think a lot of agents get shy around, oh my goodness, I have to know how to videotape. I have to like all of these things, these technical pieces, and nor do I want my face to be seen. So how much would you say are you presenting yourself versus presenting the thing that you're discussing or bringing to people's attention?
Yeah, it's interesting. So Brad McCallum is somebody who did a lot of video work and got into real estate in Calgary and really blew up really, really quick. And I studied what he did. And he said, if you're not willing to get uncomfortable in front of the camera and really, really look stupid, then you're probably not being as animated as you should be to try to connect with your audience.
Right.
And so he said he would go in public and he would just be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And he said, if I'm not embarrassed by the person who walks by, then I'm probably not dynamically engaged the way I should. And I've kind of always held on to that. I have not always done that.
Yeah.
And
that takes a lot of like nerve to just look like a, crazy, wacky, super animated kind of person.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
So my wife's biggest complaint is I don't smile enough. So even right now as I'm sitting here, okay, I got to remember to smile. I got to stay engaged, right? So it's a developed skill, and I think that when it's done really well, it does authenticate who you are. People can relate to that. You're positive. People are going into major decisions about buying and selling real estate. They want to know that you're positive, you're engaged, and you're going to bring them through that transaction.
Yeah.
So
okay, so your social media posts that you're doing, percentage wise, how much of that is real estate related and how much of it is just those community walks, those, non-real estate specific, but more, this is me and my community? Percentage wise, how much of that are you doing?
That's interesting. I would say my story is 100% of my daily living.
Okay.
And I would say that my feed is a little bit more curated. That's where my little OCD comes out.
Okay.
I can really improve on that because when I look at my analytics and my feed, that is actually that when I'm more genuine and more uncut, I guess it would be, that's where I get my engagement.
Interesting. Yeah, that there's a lot of truth to that. I think, some people will say, I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm just going to do like a quick market update for like that's the one that I find to be kind of the most annoying. It's like, oh, here's my market update for today, and they show their face for a second, and then they show like the statistics from the board or whatever, like what the current market is doing, and it's valuable information, but I'm not going to choose a realtor based on your ability to give me market stats, right? I'm going to choose a realtor who like actually shows me neighborhoods, walks the dog. Like, I think you've done a really good job of that, of just, I mean, I follow your feed. I love it because, you go up and down the island so frequently, and seeing the water and seeing you hiking or whatever it is that you're doing, it makes you real. And I think that's really important as an agent. People want to identify with somebody who feels like my friend. So we're going to talk a little bit about, video and relationship versus business, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But in terms of the content that you're creating, and maybe we touched on this a little bit, but you mentioned it, but the engagement that you're getting the most is the sort of the non-real estate related stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say the content that gets the most engagement is when I'm really breaking into sharing my thoughts on either the dynamics of an offer or something I just experienced, relaying stories about experiences we've been through, or even if I'm just doing a very simple post on Instagram in my stories talking about, we were up island today, we were discovering what it means to buy a property that's affected by Indigenous rights. What does it look like to have artifacts? And I just
Wow.
put 8 points down below. Here's what I learned today. And I had, 20 or 30 different engagement points on that. And I didn't know that was something we had to do. Tell me more about that. Where do you learn
Right.
about this? So I think it is about feeding more information and then being able to engage them with where their need is.
Right. Right.
I'm always trying to think about how I can position myself to be the solution to someone else's problem. So I'm trying to identify problems and then visually demonstrating how I'm a solution to that or how I'm actively doing that
Yeah.
in my day-to-day.
That's so good. I feel like you're really comfortable on camera. I mean, we've been having this conversation so far. I think it feels pretty natural. Have you always been natural on camera, or are you still working on it? Or like, is there anything that you do to sort of help yourself feel more comfortable?
Well, it's interesting. One of the very first things I did when I came here is I had a colleague at a beautiful waterfront listing down at 10 Mile Point, and I asked her if I could showcase the property, and I thought that would be a great way to showcase what I'm capable of doing. And I sat out there in the sun, and I captured the sunrise, captured the drone shots, and all the creative shots. And then before the sun came out from behind the cloud, I wanted to capture myself doing the
Right.
introduction. Well, I sat in front of that camera with the neighbors looking over the fence for about 45 minutes to an hour. And I had sweat coming off my brow, and I was not getting it done. And
Right.
you get it three-quarters of the way through, hit the reset button. So I would say if you see me being really comfortable on the camera, it's probably because I spent a lot of time not being comfortable on
Yeah.
the camera, and I took the very best of it. And that's a bit of a process. And there is, it's like working out. You have to spend time doing it,
Yeah.
and you have to be uncomfortable looking in the mirror as you do it. You have to listen to it. You have to get critique. You have to get people to speak into that.
Yeah.
And so I think I just recognize the value of what it brings. And so
Yeah.
I've chosen to do that,
Yeah.
but it's not natural.
No. And so you don't stand in front of the mirror and go, Greg, you're awesome. You don't pump yourself up that way. You just kind of just go for it, right? And like, how many takes did that particular one take?
I did 10 steps to buying a house. And so I was a shout out to the South Island home team. They let me go up to one of the show homes, set up
Okay.
all the lights, and I had about 3 or 4 hours to do this. And I had
Great idea.
Yeah, and I had a teleprompter in front of me, so all I really had to do is read the words and then paired it back. And I sat there forever. Like, it was like 3 or 4 hours. And my wife texted me at 10:30 at night, like, you coming home? And I'm like, not until I get this done. And so
Wow.
it's not my best work,
Yeah.
but it's you don't get to where you want to go unless
Yeah.
you put the work in.
That's
And
right.
so every time you do it, you get a little bit more comfortable. By the end, you're so frustrated
Yeah.
yourself, you pretty much know what you want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so social media, we've got video, we've got reels, we've got stories, we've got TikTok, all of these different things. What are your go-tos?
Yeah. Yeah, I found a lot of success in my stories, which we mentioned already. I also found a lot of success in YouTube. Now,
Oh, okay.
YouTube is longer form content, and so for me, I like to demonstrate a little bit more of a creative side. That's where I would like to head in more in real estate, is be able to showcase people's property and do it at a high level. And so that's kind of my passion project. So success for me would be able to do more of that. So I really pushed into that, did a couple of videos, and then marketed them through Google Ads and put them out on YouTube to get more eyes on it. And the interesting thing about that is you can take a look at the analytics, you can see who's viewing it, and you can see where your reach is, which is really powerful to your clients if you can say that I can capture and showcase your property, and these are the people that are looking at it, and these are the eyes that you have on it. So I found YouTube to be really, really beneficial.
That's interesting. Not one that I necessarily think of all the time. Like, I think maybe I'm going to be the devil's advocate here a little bit and say, that sounds great. But what about this generation who just scrolls and scrolls? And some of you might be checking out of this podcast right now because we've taken up too much of your time.
I can tell what they're already doing. They're taking a look at the peaks down
Right.
below, and they're
They're-
just
yeah,
going,
they're-
that's
they're
a really
looking at-
interesting topic.
yeah.
I go right there.
Exactly.
But that
So,
is a bit of it. So
yeah.
part of the way around that is to take your YouTube long form content and break it up into small little clips, and those clips go onto TikTok, they go into YouTube Shorts, and they're the hook. And so
Yeah.
if you can capture that little hook, they click on it. Where's the longer source to it is down below. You can hear the whole story there.
Right.
So if you can get those out there and it captures a little snapshot of what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you want to hook them back into the longer content. Longer content's really boring unless you're really interested in what they're
Yeah.
doing. And if you are trying to program something or you're trying to figure out why your car isn't running, you will be really invested in long form content because you want to get to the bottom of
Totally.
that. So yeah, so it is about being a solution and then trying to be in front of the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Do you think it's more important to be polished or personal?
Well, that's my struggle.
Most people's, I think.
I try to do both. And I
But
probably
that could be really hard on yourself, right? Because wanting to be polished takes time. And like you said, sitting there for hours,
Yeah.
just trying to get it right, that can create a serious amount of burnout for yourself. You're just spinning your wheels trying to get it done. So, how do you deal with that?
I had a good friend early on because I was really struggling with that. She's like, no, post and ghost. You got to post it and ghost,
What
which
does
means
that
don't look
mean?
back. If you thought it was really
By the
important
way,
to
this
share,
is going to hit the thing, and people are going to be, what's post and ghost? They're going to go straight here.
post and ghost is if you feel like it was important enough to share at the time,
Yeah.
especially if it's in your story, it's only out there for 24 hours, just leave it out there. Somebody's going to resonate, somebody's going to connect with it. If you don't like it, you'll never do it again. But just in the act of doing it means that you're one step closer to being more comfortable posting more information out there. And people watch your progress. And I think that's the other piece that is really important. If you're thinking about doing media and you're going, should I do it? It's not going to look as good as somebody else's. I would say that everybody loves the underdog story. And so if they can see your progress from here to there, you're like, hey, I saw you when you first on camera. I got that a couple times from family members. Hey, I really like your most recent video. You look much more relaxed than you did in the first one. I'm like, wait, what was your thoughts on your first one? Because you said you liked that one too.
Right.
No, well, I'm just saying you look a little bit more natural. So they are watching as you
Yeah, the
progress.
progression,
But
yeah.
the important thing is that if you see success at the end of 5, 7, 10 years of progression, you can look back where you started to where you are. And it's pretty cool to see. But other people can see that as well.
Yeah.
And they do reward hard work and that kind of ethic that kind of shows up again and again.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about not doing it, just start doing it.
Right.
Post and ghost. Don't look back at it. And
I love that.
yeah.
Post and ghost. And do you find that now that you've done it so much more often and you're more comfortable with it, obviously it's probably not taking you as much time as it once did. Like you have an easier flow now and you can probably get it done a lot sooner than, or are you still dealing with that perfectionist part of it? And
Getting much better. Just ask my family. Like they have a lot of selfies. They have a lot of sunset moments. I will plan entire trips around having the perfect light, seeing the perfect sunset.
Right.
I know already what's going to come together. And I'm like, hey, we should do this hike at this time to this location. And they're like, oh, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
But when you get there, the fog's lifting, the sun's setting, you got that beautiful moment.
Yeah.
So my mind already goes there.
Yeah.
So I kind of see everything through the lens of a camera. So it's pretty natural for me to do that. But what is not natural is getting in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I need to do more of that if I really want to show up and be present. If I really want to show up and communicate my value to other people. So that's where I need to flex a little bit more.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about having your face on the videos and just building that level of connection and trust with people. They can see your content, which is great, but when they see your face, when they hear your voice, when they just where we started in the beginning when you were talking about your logo and the heritage, that legacy there, that resonates with people because we all have a story, right? And so to hear you say that is just, it makes it the connection that much deeper. So
I think
yeah.
if I could, just one
Yeah,
more
of
thing,
course.
that when you choose to put your face out there, you are being a little bit more vulnerable. But you do get things all the time. Like, I don't know why you look so familiar to me. You go get the oil change. You go, I don't get a haircut. So that isn't something
No?
I battle with. But when you go places, like, why do I feel like I know you? I know you from somewhere. I just kept my foot on it.
Right.
Like, do you have signs out? Do you have anything? I've got no visual. I've got no print media. And I've got no signs anywhere. So why is it that you know me?
Yeah.
I just feel like I do. So I do a lot of advertising online. That must be it. I just feel like I know you already. And that's a
Wow.
much better place to start when
Yeah.
you're sitting down from someone at the table, to feel like they know you already. That's really important.
So that's amazing. So let's talk about algorithms, analytics,
Yeah.
that piece to it.
Yeah.
So so that's amazing that people are saying that. So how do you track your progress, your return on investment here? Because this costs money, right? Like, I mean, it costs your time, which costs
Is money.
Time
Yeah.
is money. Like every time that you're away from your business or from your family, it's costing you something. So how do you track it? And are you seeing a natural uptick over time?
I do track it as much as I can. Facebook and YouTube and Google Analytics, there's a lot of information out there. So you can actually get lost in tracking that all the time. I kind of just touch base from time to time. Or if I do a new campaign to a new area, I want to see who's viewing it. But I can tell the demographic. I can tell what platform they're watching on, if they're watching on TV, if they're watching on iPad. And so based on what form of content you're creating, you can see who's consuming it and how they're consuming it. So if I know that there's people that are sitting at night watching TV, streaming YouTube, and they go down a vein and they see a really cool house, and they'll watch that, and they'll go watch the next, and they'll go watch the next, and then they'll subscribe. That's really important information for me. So to put a value on it, that's really tough. What I'm really striving to do is to build a system that allows me to come to you as a client and say, I can take your house and I can showcase that to a target audience, to a niche audience. Who do we sell your product to? And then how do we want to sell it? What is it about your place that sells?
Right.
And so what I'm actively doing is playing around and trying to find out how I can most effectively get my properties out to the people that need to see it. So that's what I use as a metric.
Right. And that's the mix too. I mean, you're doing lifestyle, you're doing, all of these other pieces, but you're also promoting your product as well. I mean, you've got listings and you've got sellers that have expectations around how they want their house to be featured and where. And so to be able to sort of track some of those analytics for their sake, to say, it's reached this many people or whatever, that is important data to be
I
able
think
to
it is.
share.
And I think if their listing goes flat and they're like, we've only got so many viewings, so what can we do about it? Well, I can create a new video that is targeted to a new group of people in a new location, and then we can put this spin on it. So we can go back and we can custom edit their video to be able to meet that target audience, and then we can find out if they're consuming and if they're linking back and going to my website, to MLS, or to a one-page website.
Right.
So yeah, so I guess it's twofold. One is brand recognition and authenticity and building a relationship with your clients, potential clients. And the other piece is being able to service your clients and getting that product in front of the right people.
So let's talk about paid ads and boosts. Do you do that kind of stuff with your the social media stuff
Yeah,
that you
I
put out
do.
there.
And I was talking earlier about the change of algorithms, and Instagram and Facebook both did it. They really want you to advertise, and they've really made it quite effective for you to do so and give you the metrics to be able to find out how effective it is. So I found that that is one thing that has changed. And it doesn't cost a whole lot, but I do film things now through the eyes of I will need to do a boost. I will need to do something that has paid ads behind it in order to get it out in front of the most amount of people.
And would you say the majority of your boosts are for the properties that you're selling, or are you also boosting your personal content and your lifestyle content?
Yeah, I try to do a variety of everything. My main feed in Instagram is the properties that I'm selling, but I'll also do, you've seen those faster walkthrough videos that I do. If I'm
Yeah.
at a nice open house, something that other people should get their eyes on,
Right.
I'll do that as well. Forget the other part of your question.
Yeah, just I just wanted to know if you were doing the majority of that boosting on your actual listings, or
Yeah.
on
Yeah, I can take other
kind of
listings as
everything.
well. Like we have other listings
Right,
that
of
are really
course.
attractive
Yep.
within our brokerage. I'll reach out to that agent and ask
Yeah.
if I can
Get the
boost their
seller's
product.
permission, obviously. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's all about board.
Yep.
But I've done that, and I've done that in a $2 to $4 million price range. And
Yeah.
I know that that boost is probably going to be $100, and it might only get me 4 or 5 leads.
Right.
But if those 4 or 5 leads are legitimate leads at the $2 to $4 million point,
was
that's a
worth
pretty
it.
good value.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And now I have a buyer looking in that range.
Right.
So there are tools that you can do. Sometimes it feels a little bit like gambling.
Yeah.
I don't do too much of that.
Yeah.
I try to service my clients, solve problems, and market properties.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a fair thing to think about, and I think not every brokerage has these tools, but certainly at LePage we do have some inside tools that help with boosting listings, and getting leads that that can actually turn into business for agents. And so I think it's definitely something to consider if you're putting together a social media plan. Budget some money there for
Yep.
your boosts, and so that you can sort of generate some more business off of it, right? So,
Yeah, I think it's kind of a multifaceted approach to try a little bit of everything and find
Yeah.
out what works. And in different markets, different things work. So
right. So I laugh because I think about what you said earlier about, when you're going out with your family or whatever, and you're thinking about basically everywhere you go, you're thinking, well, this is a great shot. And I do really like that idea, because I think, a lot of times I'll be out and I'll see a beautiful piece of water, or something, there's a deer on the road, and not a dead one, a live one. And you take a picture of it, and I never think to actually take that stuff. Like, I just take it and go, oh, that was cool, and then I go home and I show my family, look, a deer. But I can actually take that and I can use it in my social media posts and whatever, just to talk about, like, this is Gordon Head, and there's a lot of deer here, and what a lovely, thing. And you can sort of turn it into a lifestyle post. I was going to ask about video versus like static photos. How much of the social media are you doing with just a photo post, and a single photo versus multiple photos all in one post?
yeah, I'm heavily biased towards video.
Okay.
That's just that's
Yeah.
where I go. And I think that our attention span has really just been
Yeah.
whittled way down to nothing. So you have to
Right.
keep it moving. So
Yeah.
even if I do static images, I'll put it in a carousel and I try to move them every 1.5 seconds. If I have a recently sold and there's 8 pictures in there, I want that to be cut up into something that people can be drawn into.
Yeah.
Because they're going to look at it and they're going to think, I don't want to see that anymore. Then there's another, there's another, there's another. So you're just kind of putting it in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for myself, I don't get a lot of, I'm not a huge, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not a huge fan of social media. We're having this conversation and I'm like, I don't really, and I would say a lot of people are kind of like that, but I do love to scroll.
Yep.
At the end of the day, when everybody's gone to bed and the house is quiet, out comes the phone, Insta Reels. Yep. I'm scrolling. I want to see. And I mean, mine are basically all dogs that are doing cute things,
Fair
but it's true. I think we've moved away from actually scrolling through feed of static photos, and we're actually just focusing on video. So it's interesting, that's the bulk of where you're doing things. It's
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
that's
I
the
also
way to
think
go.
we live in such a beautiful area, and that's where we're really fortunate here in Victoria. It's just aesthetically appealing everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And my brother doesn't live here. He says all you need to do is post pictures or post videos of you doing life here, because not everybody does life the way you do it.
Right.
And it is a bit of an attraction point,
Yeah.
which is like I could be living like that. Like I can go down to the ocean like I did this morning,
I know.
ultra low tide, walk out at Ogden Point and see all the sea creatures that are down there. And I can still do my work from there, and I can still come in here and carry on with my day.
Yeah.
That's a 10-minute window out of my day.
Yeah.
But it's how we live here.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess I'm just showcasing.
Yeah. I
What
love
could
that.
be.
We
Yeah.
really are blessed here. I
Yeah.
mean, it is like a 10-minute, 15-minute drive to any piece of water. It's just incredible. We talked about this on one of other podcasts about how beautiful it is here. And then I was like, I feel like we need to keep it a secret because, you know, we should just enjoy it ourselves. But no, we shouldn't. We should tell everybody how beautiful it is here because it really is a very special place.
Yeah.
And why not just take some videos and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
That's so good. So let's talk about tools. A lot of this sounds really hard, especially if you're not tech savvy. So, you know, there's tools like Canva, there's different apps that, you know, can make it more simple for people. For someone that would just be starting out and just saying, okay, this is inspiring me, but Greg knows what he's doing. He's got some background in it. He's been doing it for a while. I don't have that level of skill. Where should I start?
Yeah, super simple. I mean, iPhone has come along so far. So what you can do with a little tiny little gimbal for $150 on Facebook Marketplace, with an iPhone maybe 13 and newer, get something with a really good camera on it, something that, you know, allows you to do more creative cinematic shots or allows you to post in a higher resolution so that it demonstrates quality. Those tools, plus, you know, several hours spent on Canva, just getting familiar
Right,
with it, feeling
Canva's
your
a
way
good-
around it. It's
yeah.
so intuitive now. So there are so many options. There's really no reason why you can't show up at a very basic level and continue to develop your ability every time you go out.
Yeah.
Post and ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Make
Post
it,
and
put it up
ghost.
there and say, I'd like to do better next time. And then that's the goal.
Yeah. One of our managing brokers in the office, I think one of her first posts, we did a session on this internally in the brokerage, and she showed us one of her very first real estate posts, and it was like something like a corkscrew. And it was like she was, I don't know, using it so that the little legs would go up and down and there was music playing in the background. Had nothing to do with real estate, just a corkscrew dancing on the counter with this goofy music behind it. And it was viral. It blew up because people thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. And people want to see something that's outside of the ordinary. So if I show up and do everything that everybody else is doing, I'll look like everybody else.
Right. And my point with that is that it cost her nothing. And she didn't have to edit it. You know, you just put music behind it, you post it, and off you go. It does not have to be difficult. I think sometimes too, we as agents tend to compare ourselves to what other people are doing. I always say, you know, the majority of people that are looking at real estate related content are other agents. And we just constantly compare. And so that's probably not a great idea because.
Well, and we could get into that a little bit because
Yeah.
I just talked to two friends of mine that I really value that are doing high level content. And they're like, look, I just had to scrub everybody off my list. I don't want to compare myself to what other people
Wow.
are doing. I want my feed to represent who I am to my people.
Right.
And I found that I was just logging on, scrolling on. I didn't do that. I can't do that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't afford to do that. Well, that would be nice. So they just eliminated all except for the people they want to talk to. And there's definitely an argument for that. I like to take a look at what other people are doing so I don't replicate what
Yeah.
other people are doing
Yeah.
and see if I could creatively bring something. But it takes a lot to continue to show up at that level. One of the ways that I avoided that 3-4 years ago, I would go out with my camera and my drone and I would say, I've got an hour and a half to collect content. I want to make a creative edit out of this. I'm going to have 1 hour to do it. And at the end of it, I'm going to post it somewhere so people see it. And didn't matter what I got, I had to find all those creative components, put it together, and I had to put my name behind it and put it up for some people to see. And
Right.
you learned really quick that you need to be very efficient with your time and that you're never going to be done with your finished product.
Right.
And any creative will tell you that. Like, they're never happy. It's like an artist that the painting is never done
Yeah.
because there's other things they could do.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, you have to put it together and put it out there and put
Right.
it to work. Yeah.
Super basic question, but you're talking about drone. For those that, like myself who don't drone, I'm sure there's lots of different options, different price points. If you are using drone as part of your social media, do you need to have a license for that?
Yeah, it's kind of nuanced. I think a lot of people are just kind of squeaking in under the radar there.
Yeah.
But if you're using a drone to make money, there are legal implications around that. So I'd encourage you to look into that a little bit further.
Good call.
I do have my advanced drone license, which allows me to do that. And it also allows me to fly bigger aircraft in areas that other people aren't legally allowed to fly.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a growing field, and definitely the technology is there now that everybody can do it.
Yeah.
But definitely something to look into.
Yeah, it's a bit sketchy, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I know that talking to the harbor master in Victoria, she said if the drone is in the air, they will make a phone call and the police or somebody will come and talk to you.
Wow.
So whether you're legal or whether you're not,
Have you heard of that happening
that's
to
their
anyone?
level of attention.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it-
Well, I've had it happen when I was flying outside of Victoria Airport, and it was a pretty major event.
Right.
But the police came up with their Zodiac and they got out and said, do you have a license to be here? Are you qualified to do this? Do you have your paperwork? I said, I'm capturing a pretty major event right now. Can I still fly? He goes, you can still fly if you're qualified to do so. If you're not, you're going to be in trouble. I need you to bring it down. So I had my son with me, had all my binder full of documents, and they satisfied everything,
Wow.
took a picture of my license, and they carried on. But that's the level that
Yeah.
they will and can. And
I
fines
guess
can be up to,
particularly too through around the airport and
Yeah.
around the harbor and
Yeah.
for sure.
the fines are they aggregate. So for every infraction is like $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000. So you can be out $50,000
Yeah.
for a major infraction. So I don't play around with it.
Or, I mean, you could also, hire a company like Reshot, who is our partner in this podcast. They do all this fabulous video work for us, and they can do drones, and you won't have to worry about all those other implications. So, shout out to Reshot. But that's great. That's good to know. I mean, that's something that maybe the normal person wouldn't think about. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to go grab a drone from Amazon, and it's not going to be a problem. But
Yeah, the
it
two
could
things
be.
I would think is the consequences of not doing it correctly. And then if you are going to do it correctly, it's actually really labor intensive.
Yeah.
And so if you're paying someone to do it and it feels really expensive, it's because they're actually investing the time, have invested time in training,
Yeah.
and they have insurance to go do what you're asking them to do.
I do like the gimbal thing. I think that's a great idea and pretty affordable. Can you just explain, like, to the person that doesn't know what a gimbal is? Maybe they think that's like an elf at Christmas time or something.
It's a chicken head for your phone. That's what it is. If you move your chicken around, the head just stays in one location. So the gimbal is essentially that. You put your phone into a little clasp and
Yeah.
then you hold it, and as you move it around, it does the
It
same
just
thing. So
stays-
it stabilizes the
Yeah,
image and makes
okay.
it much more flowing.
Right.
So if you look at my walkthrough videos, I will just put my phone in vertical, put it in wide angle, and I'll walk through with a gimbal. And if I'm smooth with my motion, you can fast forward it, you could slow it down, and you can use all that footage, much similar to how a professional would do it with a big DSLR
Yeah.
and a bigger gimbal. It's just a much more simple tool. And the technology has come so far. In 3 to 5 years, you're not going to need a big camera ever
Right.
again. We're probably already there.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, definitely. And another tool I think is a really good one to have, and it costs like maybe $30, is like a halo. Whether it's a halo that clips to your cell phone or if you've got a standing halo that you can change the color just so that you've got, the right lighting on your face if you're doing like a shot later in the evening or that kind of thing. I think that's probably a good.
Yeah, you can
Good
start
call as
there,
well.
and there's some really cool products that are just a small little cube with a soft box on it that you can get for
Right.
$100 or $200. You can put on a light stand, and it's got a rechargeable battery, and you can take it anywhere.
Right.
But it makes a huge difference. It really defines you. It puts you at the center, and it gives you a little bit of depth between you and the background, and it just brings up that level, and people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting because kids that are 8, 9, 10 years old are doing this level
It's
of
true.
quality.
Yeah.
And so if we as professionals are not even coming to the minimum level
Totally.
that kids are doing it, and we're selling $1 million homes,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's part of our responsibility.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
if you have a kid that's 10 plus, they can probably teach you.
Yeah.
You know, I go to my kids for a lot of things because I just, I don't know how. And there are so many great apps. We talked a little bit about Canva, but there's CapCut. There's many different apps that you can use to, like, they literally have templates. You just plop your videos and photos into it. It does the rest, the words, the music, everything.
There are amazing AI tools now
Yeah.
that you can take this whole podcast, drop it in, and it'll cut it up into usable clips, and it'll pan between the different angles. It'll put your subtitles on there.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that you have to do everything perfect and know how to edit, you really don't.
Yeah.
Like, with a little bit of time on the internet, you can search for the tools that are necessary to do it. You can capture it, or you can send it out to Fiverr or other professionals that are
Yeah.
willing to do this work for you, and you'd be amazed what you can do. So
So good.
I don't think it's beyond the reach of
Yeah.
everybody to do.
I think that's it. It's, we've thought for so long that it's overwhelming and it's expensive, and I just don't have the time for it. But the problem, I think, too, is if we don't take the time for it, we won't be able to advance our business because, we're a large real estate board. We have a lot of agents to choose from, and we do have to set ourselves apart. It is important. And so how are we going to do that? And this
Yeah.
is a really key way to do that.
And it's changed a lot in 3 years since I've been here. There were just a few doing that high level, and there's a lot more now, and a lot more that are up and coming. So I think it's worthwhile, and I think it's a required tool to be able to showcase your properties really well, to get the top dollar and to sell in the least amount of time. So the more eyes you can get on it, the better chance you could do it.
Yeah. So do you do any kind of time blocking for this? Do you schedule out a calendar for the month, or is it just completely organic and unorganized?
Completely organic.
Love
and I
it.
wish it was otherwise, and it's probably not going to change until I get a part-time or a full-time admin assistant
Right.
that is very administratively organized.
that can do
I'm just
that.
not like that.
Yeah.
And so I enter into my day, and in my day I bring people into it, and then I recognize the need, or if I have a listing that needs to be showcased, that becomes my next focus. And I kind of keep going like that. I thought I would have a lot more time to do actually the media than I do. And so the busier I get, the more I realize I can't compromise serving my clients. And so I will be looking at finding ways to scale, to offload,
Right.
take some of that stuff and share it with other people, even though I value doing it my way.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the best for my clients if I do that all
Yeah.
the time. So
Yeah. On the flip side of that too, like, and I know a lot of people kind of just do it, fly by the seat of their pants sort of. But I do think there is some value in, scheduling yourself an actual calendar of posts. You can actually Google, like, social media calendars, and it will give you even the ideas that you need to put into the calendar. And then if you're the time blocking type, it can be really good. You say, for 1 to 2 hours, 3 days a week at the beginning of the month, I'm going to set my whole calendar, do all of the posts, schedule them out on all the different platforms, set it, forget it, and move on.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the best way to do it, but it can be very difficult to find that time as well.
yeah, and it's a bit of a process to
Yeah.
understand how you want to deliver your content, how you want to deliver it in your voice so it's authentic, who you want to deliver your message to.
Yeah.
So it does require extrapolating all the different avenues of who you want to reach to. So I've done this in the past. I go to chat and I tell them I'm an agent in this area. I want to speak to these people. I want to use my ability in these areas to showcase these properties. Please build a schedule for me
Right.
on a 5-day schedule that reaches this audience. And then I just follow the direction
Yeah.
and then build out. The one thing I don't do is I don't take rote from chat and put it into what I do. Like, it's always needs to be authentically
Yeah.
my voice. But it does work really well to identify your target audiences and then to be able to meet
Yeah.
that need. It
So
would be
good.
really wise to
It
schedule.
would be wise, I know,
Yes.
but I don't think we as agents generally are super, organized. I mean, I think we wear so many hats. Like, we do have to make this a priority for sure.
Yeah.
Because we have to continue the business. It's also helpful for referrals. So much of our business is, referrals to other major markets within Canada and abroad. But also, like, we have to juggle this plus our actual work, listings, buyers, offers, all the other pieces.
Well, it's
right?
interesting that you say that about Do you delegate that time? In fact, I would say in the last 6 months, I pulled way back from what I was doing in the past, and I haven't done much more intentional video. Short of servicing my clients, I haven't done as much of that. And I did that because I need to push into my CRM. I need to push into my communications, my admin, and scale my business that way so
Right.
that it runs efficiently. So now I'm taking a look at it. Who do I want to reach? What's the most effective tool to do that? And then how do I want to communicate? And who are the people I'm going to talk to? So I'm just going through that right now. So I guess we'll see.
That's awesome. It's good. Okay, here's some rapid fire questions for you. I call them kind of like my 3 ones. There's going to be 3 questions and with one thing in each.
Okay.
So the first rapid fire question is one myth about real estate social media you want to bust.
I think it would be the myth that you need to do it. I've chosen to do it because I think it's a fantastic tool for people to be invited into my everyday reality and to see what I offer. But there are people that have been doing this for 30 years that have really authentic relationship with their people that aren't doing it at all. And I think there are people, and I can identify them within our brokerage, that choose not to do it at all, and they're doing really well. I think it's a tool that should be capitalized on because I think it's one more thing that we can do. And I think it's very simple to do.
Yeah.
And I think you can leave a lot on the table if you don't do it. But it's not necessary.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, this whole conversation is about social media, but you're saying, you don't have to do it. So we can just wash our hands down, go home. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
I think social media right now is the fastest way for me to demonstrate value to the majority of people and to deliver on my promise to my people.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, rapid fire number 2.
Okay.
One mistake agents make online.
I think it does go to the polished versus personal.
Okay.
I think they need to make it perfect. And the mistake they don't do is invite people into their life and then communicate authentically. And that is a difficult one because not all of us are open books. We are with our clients, but it's really hard to contextualize our messaging to a camera or to a camera or to a camera.
Right.
And feel that same level of personal connection.
Yeah.
So I like this format because I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
It's super simple to do.
Yeah.
But when you get in front of a camera, it feels disconnected.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that it doesn't have value unless it's perfect.
Yeah.
And I think it's the other way around. It has value because it's imperfect. People are connected to who you are. They feel attracted to that. You slip up, they can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But they will listen to your whole message and they will respond. So.
Yeah. And I would add further to that, agents that stick to a script too much and, it almost sounds like a speech. Don't be afraid to mess up a little bit, to say the wrong word and then go, oops, sorry. Or, don't be afraid to just be authentically, again, that word, you. I find it really difficult sometimes when I'm watching some of these and it's like, here we are at 123 John Street. Let's go take a look, right? And it's just it is very scripted. In my opinion, I feel like you probably shouldn't even practice. Just go and do it. Maybe some people need to, but I find that can be just very... I'll just keep scrolling because I'm not interested.
That was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
That's why I bought a teleprompter, and I'm doing a beach introduction to a property.
Right.
And I'm walking through again and again and again. The guy behind me has been behind the camera in studio a bunch. He says, I'm telling you the truth, Greg, you are better with one authentic line, 100% who you are, and just dropping off to the video than you are doing this.
Wow.
So can you please just put that aside? And there was a drunk man walking on this side, and he was yelling at us. There was an air nailer on this side, and the wind was blowing around. And he says, don't think about any of that. Just look at me and tell me what you want to communicate. And you walk into the camera, and you confidently communicate that, walk right past the camera, and everyone goes, wow, that is the most authentic, most comfortable you've ever been. And that's essentially it. And that takes time to get there, but once you get there, then you show up in people's houses, on their computers, on their iPhones in that way. And their first impression is you being relaxed and comfortable in front of homes and delivering.
Yep, that's so good. And I also would think to add to that as well, mistakes that agents make online. There is this thing called the 80-20 rule. We talk about doing 80% lifestyle, 20% real estate. And a lot of agents do it the other way around. They do 20% lifestyle and they do 80% real estate. And, all of their feed is just market updates. It's showing homes. It's talking about mortgage rates and all of these things. And I don't care. I want to know who you are. I'm not connecting with the data. I want a relationship with you. And so much of real estate is about relationship building.
Yeah, and I've got two examples that really quickly just demonstrate
Yeah.
that. Like I had a financial advisor from the Fraser Valley contact me and say, I'm going to give you a lead. Greg, just so you know, I've directed them. I don't know if they're going to come your way. And when people do that, I always try to reward that. Send them
Right.
a digital coffee card for Starbucks. She goes, you don't have to do that. I don't even know if they're going to go with you. I said, I just need to know from you why you chose to direct someone to me. She says, I've been following your feed and I feel like I can relate to you. I feel like you're professional. I feel like you deliver at that level. And so I thought my people should go to you first. That's what being authentic on camera. And the other piece was about a client who came in and said, I'm relocating to Ontario. I want you to find me a realtor in Ontario for me to make my purchase. Same thing. I said, I don't know if we've met yet. She goes, no, we haven't met. I met you online. You were flying a drone through the aircraft museum in Sydney. Started following your content then. I started following your real estate and I like the way you do things. And so can we come in and we could just chat? So we chatted and talked and got her set up with a referral out to Ontario. So that's the relationship that was built virtually, but she felt that was authentic enough
incredible.
to build off that trust. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. So good. Okay, last one. One small thing an agent could do today to boost their presence. So, like just one step towards a better social media presence.
I'd say
Something simple.
just start. And if you're not ready to start and post online, just start by recording a video. Record a video of yourself, and if you don't like it, that's fine, do another one. Just keep it on your phone. And then the next day when you record your second video, this is what I would post. Record it, put your phone down, and listen to it. And if you're uncomfortable by the way you presented it, then work on that. And then turn the volume down and watch the video. And if you're uncomfortable with the way you look, work on that. And if you do that for 30 days, you don't ever have to post it.
Yeah.
But if you start doing it, you will get past the uncomfortableness of standing there and looking at your phone.
Right.
Do I sound like that? Do I look like that?
Yeah.
We're all looking at you. You do sound like that. You do look
That's
like
right.
that. So just go do it because people will be happy to see you online.
Totally.
So I would say do that. Just start doing it and post and ghost.
And can you think of like a specific example of, just that first video? What should it be? Like let's make this an action plan. Like, I want you to go and do this. What would it
Yeah,
be?
super simple. Whatever you're most comfortable with,
Okay.
wherever you are most comfortable, talk about what you're doing and invite people into it.
Right.
Hey guys, I'm just down at the beach today. This is one of my favorite places to go. I come down here, watch the whales all the time.
Yeah.
I don't see them here today, but it's just a part of my day to come down, get grounded before I start my day. Everybody, have a great day. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed the people that resonates with will start reaching out, start connecting. Oh, me too. I love that place. I go there all the time.
Yeah.
And you're developing that relationship. So I would say just that. Like, what is
So
it? Is
good.
it book club? What are you?
Yeah.
What are you a part of? Your dogs? Go to the dog
If you're a
park.
pet
This
lover, yeah.
amazing dog was at the dog park today. I'm going to bring you with me every day this week, and we're going to showcase a new dog and its owner. I love meeting people here. Do you have a dog? If so, what do you love to do? And it just invites people into conversation. We're all
so
out here.
simple.
Yeah, we're all out here in a digital world without relationship, and
Yeah.
anything that you can invite relationship in is really important.
So good. And none of that was about market updates or mortgage rates.
And it's super
It
simple
was-
to do,
and it's
especially
simple
if it's
to
a
do.
passion of
Yeah,
yours, right?
yeah, totally.
So I think that's a good place to start, and it can gravitate into other things.
Yeah.
What I really want to gravitate into is being in front of the camera. This is probably a step in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm not fully comfortable here.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants to be the first
No.
people to get out and do this. But I see the value in it.
Yeah.
And I think if I can show up at this level, then next time is going to be that much easier.
Yeah.
So.
So good. Great. So I think the real takeaways here are just get out there and start doing it
Yep.
on the easiest level possible. Send out a video, try to get some, traction with that, and then work from there. And then the post and ghost. I love that. I love that concept for sure.
Yeah, and I would even add, if you see somebody doing it well, don't be afraid to encourage them. I try to do that often. Inside our brokerage, outside our brokerage, love your content, man. I love the way you've packaged it. This is fantastic. We don't
Yeah.
hear that often enough. They've done a lot of heavy lifting to get there.
Yeah.
And you can follow that up with, would you ever have time to talk about how you do this? Because I'd like to learn how to do it better.
Yeah.
And if people are there and contributing and working at that level, there's probably a good chance. And I'll put that out there too. If you're watching this and you want just a little bit of insight about what I've learned
Yeah.
or what tools I've used, I'm available. I'd love to be able to help people move forward with it.
Totally. And your information will be attached to the podcast. People can reach out to you. Greg, I know you love to have coffee with people. I mean, we have coffee often. And I just think that you are such an approachable person. You've got like a silky smooth voice that just, it's just enjoyable to sit and listen to you talk. And your
Keep talking.
stories are,
This is good. Keep talking.
this is where I just, tell you how wonderful you are. So I just know that people will, whether they're connecting with you to do real estate or connecting with you to just talk about, their own career in real estate, I know that you will be more than willing to talk to anyone.
100% all the time. That's probably
Yeah.
my biggest mistake. Not my biggest mistake. It's probably the rabbit hole I go down the most is seeing people before the business.
Right. Well, that's a good thing, though.
I don't think it's bad.
No.
I think, but all that to say that if you want to talk business, you want to talk anything we talked about today, I'm available.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We just appreciate your time. I know taking an hour out of your day as a busy real estate agent in a busy spring market is a thing, and so we appreciate your time today. We hope that you have found some value in this today. If you need a realtor, Greg is here for you. Greg Duerksen, his information will be here for you. Reach out to him. Go have that coffee. Have a chat with him about what he can do to help you buy or sell. If you're an agent and you are considering getting into real estate, or you're in the business and you're thinking about a change, or you want to incorporate some more social media into your business plan, reach out to Greg. Go have a coffee with him. He'll be happy to chat. I'm also happy to chat with you too. You can always reach out to me at the brokerage, and I would be happy to have a coffee with you as well. We love coffee around here. So thank you again for joining us. We hope you have a great day, and we hope you have found this helpful, and we'll see you again on the Red Chair Podcast. Take care.